Hello, friends. I'm Swapna Gajala, and I heartily welcome you all to PSSM Global's new show, Soul Connect. PSSM Global is an initiative to strengthen the roots of Pyramid Spiritual Society's movement worldwide. PSSM's sole mission is to spread Anapanasati meditation, plant based food, spiritual science, and beneficial uses of pyramid energy to one and all. One of the 18 guiding principles of PSSM emphasizes on listening and sharing meditation experiences to enhance one's spiritual progress. Through this show, we want to connect you all to various spiritual masters across the globe who will share their words of wisdom, their journeys, and experiences. Today, I'm very happy and excited to welcome our guest, Ravi Kiran from UK. Currently living in London since last 10 years, he is working for an investment bank. He has transformed his life through meditation and currently leading a happy and joyful life. He realized that with meditation, one can achieve success on personal level, on the professional front, financially as well as spiritually. He and his wife Prana moved to UK in the year 2011 and started spreading meditation since 2012. Ravi played a key role in organizing Digital Meditation Summit UK and supporting various PSSM events in UK and across the globe. Currently, Ravi and Prana are organizing various meditation classes and workshops across various locations in UK through Pyramid Meditation Foundation with the help of other senior pyramid masters. Hearty welcome, Ravi, to Soul Connect. We are very happy to have you here.
Hi, Swapna. Thank you for having me today, and I'm very happy to be here with you, sharing my experiences.
Thank you. So, Ravi, can you share with us when and how you came into meditation?
Yes, so in the year 2007, I came into meditation, but before that, I used to, think about meditation. I tried various other techniques as well. I always used to have this, oh, I need to learn meditation because when I was a child, I once saw a post, some of the, magazine, one of the magazine, the Sunday magazine in Telugu. So there I saw with meditation, you get inner peace and you realize your life purpose. So then I realized, okay, I need to understand what exactly meditation is. Then I went to different places, places like Ramakrishna Mutt, and also I once went to Art of Living, Ravi Shankar, Sri Ravi Shankar ji session also, meditation session also. There I tried, but I couldn't continue it because I was sharing the room with my friends. I was shy doing meditation in front of them. So that's why I couldn't continue. But then in the year 2007, when I was having this, going through the tough phase in my life, that's when I learned this meditation, Anapanasati, breath awareness meditation, through my friend. Uh, then she was my friend, but now she's my wife, Pranahita. So that was the year 2007 when I started. I mean, I think it is exactly at the same time in the October, November. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Thank you so much. So, what are some of the transformations you have seen after coming into meditation?
So, yes, my life used to be, very miserable before starting meditation. I was doing good in academics and I was a good performer in all the things. Even with friends, I used to be very jovial. But then after finishing my graduation, so that's when the life challenges comes, right? So you have to find you have to get settled soon. Everyone expect you to settle in a job. So that's when I had to, I went through a lot of issues, the fears and phobias. Whenever I went to interviews, I used to see the people around there, and because I am from a tier 2 town in India. So and but the first time I moved to Hyderabad. So Hyderabad is like a tier 1, right? So everyone is like very confident, in terms of public speaking, and they are more vocal, right? So they always speak, and they are, sometimes you can say some people are extrovert. So I was like, when I went to Hyderabad, for me it was like, wow, it's a altogether a different world. So that confidence levels, they are like decreased. and also I developed some kind of fears and phobias. So that's when I was like, after finishing the graduation, I was looking for the job, and I didn't get a job for 2 years. After that, I got the job, but at work again, I got the job in Delhi, which is again, it's like a metropolitan city where everyone is so posh, and everyone is like very well, talking and very well communicating. I was like always, oh my goodness. So I never spoke in front of, like 10, 50 or, people. And whenever there is a meeting, I always used to hide behind someone. Even though I know the things, I never used to express because of that fears and phobias. But during this time, after this engineering, and during the engineering also, I got used to this alcohol. So I was addicted to alcohol. So I had this insomnia problem, and I used to smoke cigarettes. I was a chain smoker. I used to smoke like 10 to 15 cigarettes a day. So because of all these fears and phobias, and where I could not express myself fully, that made me to go into depression, right? So already I was alcoholic. I used to drink alcohol. I used to take every day to have the sleep. Even after having this alcohol, I used to struggle to get the sleep. Sometimes when I don't have this alcohol, when I don't get the alcohol, the shops are closed. I used to have the stock of sleeping pills. So I used to take the sleeping pills as well. And sometimes in India, basically you need prescription to get the sleeping pills on regular basis, because it's like a small place, right? So wherever I was living, it was a small place, and they used to, every day I used to go there and ask for a sleeping pill. Then they said, hey, you are coming every day. This is not good, and we are not allowed to give sleeping pill without prescription. So that's when I started taking cough syrups, because they have the alcohol percentage, some kind of thing which makes you, have that. You can go into sleep. It's like a drug basically. So you taking a cough syrup for the cap full of cough syrup is okay for your cough. But I used to drink whole cough syrup bottle. It's like so during this process, and I went to a country called Sweden. I on the onset opportunity, I got the onset opportunity, and I used to stay there in the city called Stockholm. There, because of all these issues, I was already having this depression. I said, right. So I used to be a good, little bit good. It's not that I was like outstanding performer, but I was okay at work. But what happened in this city, Stockholm, when I went to on-site, I couldn't do well at, in my project. And whole team, like we were a team of 3 people, we couldn't do well. And the project got, kind of scrapped, and the client was very unhappy. And he was like, we have invited you to our country, to our location, and expecting a lot of things, spending a lot of money, and you are not performing well. And we were there for 3 months. During that time, I was like almost on the verge of ending my life because of that. Already I was having this depression, and on top of that, this project got failed. And so many calls would come from offshore managers saying, hey Ravi, what happened? You are a good performer, you know the things. But that was the situation. I couldn't say anything. And that's when I was going through the deep depression phase, and I was almost on the verge of committing, ending my life. That's when I, happened to talk to one of my friends, Pranahita. Then she was my friend, but now she's my wife. She then explained this meditation technique over the phone. So uh, she was trying to teach this meditation for 2 years then only, but I was like always teasing her, right? So we are like young people. We are why do you need meditation as far as I know, meditation is for old people. Even though on the back of my mind, I know it is good because I remember I read somewhere that meditation will help, it will give you it will make you to realize the purpose of your life. But still, because after that I went into this, physical life, and I had this education and everything. Uh, so then I used to tease her all the time, and she used to talk about soul and all those things. I was like, what are you talking? Oh, you are talking everything, which, it is, everything is going out of my mind. I don't even understand what you're talking. But then it was need of the hour for me, because I was almost, on the verge of ending my life. I was like, what is this life for? And I'm seeing this life as a complete failure. What is this life for? I cannot express what I want to say. I have something in my mind I cannot express because of the whatever the barrier, language barrier, or the fears and phobias. And even though I know the things, I am a good performer, but still, the project got failed. So I was like, is there any use me living on this planet? But then she came like, an angel into my life. And she again, tried to convince me over the phone. She taught this meditation. So when everyone go to sleep in the night, I used to sit in meditation. But before that, I started this meditation in the train because, as I said, like I always used to feel shy doing meditation in front of the colleagues or roommates. So what I've done is, from my place to the workplace, it used to be a 10 to 12 minutes of train journey in Stockholm. That's when I started meditation. First 1 week, 10 days, I used to slip into sleep because I was, as I said, I was having this insomnia. But after that, this 10 minutes of sleep, after that, I used to feel so refreshing. I was like, my goodness, this is what I'm like thriving for. This is what I was looking for all these days. And even after taking alcohol, uh, just, I used to have this 2 to 3 hours sleep. That is also like not sound sleep. It was like always with some dreams, unwanted things, uh, rolling here and there. That's how it used to be. But this 10 minutes of meditation, uh, it really felt very, very refreshing for me. After 10 days, I started feeling some sense of inner joy, some feeling of happiness for no reason. Uh, I always tell this, right? So after few days, I understood that this is because of, some hormones that get released in meditation. And after maybe 3 to 4 weeks, I gave up drinking alcohol. It just happened. It's not that, I intentionally wanted to give up. I tried many times, but it never happened. But this time it just happened. And on one fine day, I was like smoking. I was like, I've just thrown it. And then the cigarette, but I've thrown it, and that's it. After that, I never touched. It just happened within 6 weeks, or maybe 7 weeks, within 40 days. So that's when, I've got this big, transformation in my physical life. But still, I had these fears and phobias. So after this Stockholm drama, I returned back to India, and then I got transferred to Bangalore from Gurgaon. There used to be a center in Bangalore where I was working. I was working in a place called ITPL, and there used to be a place called Brookfield. There was a beautiful meditation center. This guy, I'm like, even now, I'm so grateful to him. He has created a meditation center, so luxurious meditation center, like with proper cushions and back support, and all with all the facilities. So there, I used to do 6 to 8 hours of meditation every day. That's when all my fears and phobias went away. So that's like, these are the, benefits. And after that, I got this thought power, and I started thinking positively. I was like, well aware of what is happening and how to focus on the solution instead of on focusing on the problem. So it's like step by step it used to happen. And because I was in Bangalore, uh, there for the first time, I mean, after I came to Bangalore, I transferred to Bangalore. I went to this place called Pyramid Valley in Bangalore. It is like 50 kilometers from Bangalore city. So that's where every Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, I used to go there. There also, I used to do like hours together meditation, sometimes 8 to 10 hours of meditation. That's when a lot of transformation happened.
That is an incredible transformation, Ravi. And thank you so much for openly sharing about your addictions and challenges. And it's amazing how through meditation you transformed your life positively. These are the challenges that many face, especially youth. And I'm sure your story will inspire them to start practicing meditation. So, Ravi, you were mentioning about Pyramid Valley, Bangalore. Can you give us more details and your experience there?
Yeah. So this Pyramid Valley, it was like a magical in my life because, as I said, I was in this transformation phase. I was like, because the more I'm going into this meditation, the deeper I'm going, I wanted to explore more. I wanted to meet people. I wanted to do more and more meditation because I'm seeing this bliss from inside. Uh, the more meditation I'm doing, the more happiness I'm seeing. And this 6 to 8 hours of meditation in this Brookfield, in this center, that really transformed my life. And uh, there used to be a person called Vinay Chaitanya. So he's also one of this meditation teacher then. So he used to coordinate, he used to take care of that meditation center. Even though I know this about this Pyramid Valley before that, but I never thought of going there. But after Prana told and Vinay Chaitanya, the other Bangalore people, they said, "Oh, this is a good place." Then I started going there every Saturday, Sunday. That was like, it is an amazing place. It's surrounded by hills and nature, and there is a very big pyramid. At a time, like I think I don't exactly remember, like around 5,000 people can sit inside that pyramid and can meditate. I understood that the pyramid energy can be used when you are doing meditation. When you are doing meditation under this pyramid, it is thrice more powerful. I experienced that in this pyramid meditation center. So it is like a, in this center you have like a 2 by 2 pyramid. Okay, a 2 feet by 2 feet pyramid. And when the moment I went there in Pyramid Valley, looking at that, very big pyramid, I was like, wow, this is like, I went inside and there is a place called King's Chamber. So there, when I meditated, it was like so energetic. I'm like, usually people say it's like thrice more powerful, but in this King's Chamber, it's so powerful. This 8 hours of meditation that I used to do, I mean, it's not at a stretch. I used to do like 1 hour, 2 hours, and this is surrounded by nature, hills, and a beautiful lake in between. So, and there is a place called Tapastali also, like on the hill. So I used to go every now and there on these Saturday, Sundays, and I used to do like hours together meditation. The amount of energy that I received there in this Pyramid Valley, I used to realize after I, go to the city. So it is like, you go to this Pyramid Valley, this, beautiful energy hub, and then steal the energy, whatever you want, accumulate, and then go and use that, week long. I used to be like very energetic throughout the week. So every weekend, I used to wait. Oh, I want to go to this Pyramid Valley. I used to wait for this Saturday and Sunday, not to go to the movies, not to spend time with friends, not to, spend, drinking alcohol, whatever it is. So I used to always wait for that moment, like Saturday, Sunday, and go there, do a lot of meditation, grab, whatever the energy you want to, take in, and then use. So that was like, and now recently I went there. Every year I started going there. Now every year, 10 days of silence meditation I do there. So silence retreats happen and a lot of programs happen. There is something called Global Congress of Spiritual Scientists. So I attended that, and the last year and the year before, I went to silence retreat, and it is even more beautiful now. Oh my goodness! Like they have made, it's like it looks like heaven on this planet. It's so greenery, so much of greenery, and so much of energy over there. So I really love that place, and I would suggest so many people, I mean everyone, go there and utilize that energies.
Beautiful. I've heard about Pyramid Valley and I've seen a couple of videos, beautiful landscapes and everything. And hearing from you, I'm even more eager and curious, to go and visit the place and stay there.
I definitely suggest it's worth going there and worth spending like at least 5 to 10 days.
Ravi, you were mentioning that meditation helped you in your personal life as well as in your professional life. Can you tell us how it helped you at your workplace?
So my strong feeling is because I have experienced it. So that's why I always say with meditation, anyone can achieve success at personal level and at professional level and also spiritually. And how to, respond to the people instead of reacting. You take a pause before you react to the people. This part, the uh, instead of reacting, the responding that gets developed when you do meditation, that really helped at work. And before meditation, I always used to focus on the problem. So the moment I would get a new work, I used to feel so tensed. Oh my goodness, will I be able to do this? So instead of focusing on the solution, I used to focus on the problem. Like, let's say my work has got 10 different things. Instead of looking one at a time, I used to look, oh my God, I have 10 different things to do. How do I do this? Will I be able to get the information from other colleagues? Will I be able to understand? So because I kind of my focus is shattered, on multiple things, not focusing on one thing. So I used to get that stress. I used to have that stress of delivering this, and with this, I always used to fail because uh, only when you focus one thing at a time, then only you can complete the task, right? So all the tasks. So what I would say is improved focus and the distraction level. So what happens is before meditation, when I'm doing some work, I think about other works. Oh my God, I need to do those things. Let me jump into that. Let me jump into that. So it's like jumping between the tasks because I don't have the clarity. I don't have the focus. So with meditation, I started improving my focus. I started improving, focusing on one thing at a time, complete it, and then move to the next. Don't worry about the next thing. So the way I do things now, let's say I have 7 days of work. Today is Sunday, and I have work for next. Work is allocated until next Sunday. I focus on Monday work first and then Tuesday. And then I go, step by step finish. When that is finished, and then I think about the next day. But before meditation, I used to think about everything, completely. I don't even need to think about Sunday, next Sunday, but I used to think about that. Oh, I need to do that as well. So that's how I used to drain my energy a lot, a lot. So then with meditation, I can say I started thinking outside of the box. I always used to, uh, confine myself to particular one task, or even if there is an opportunity, I used to say, no, I'm not familiar with that. I better, stick to this. So I'm like, in this safe and secure zone where I could do things. I never used to think outside the box. I never used to uh, open for the new opportunities. But after meditation, now whatever the kind of work, I am ready to do it. And I started improving my concentration levels increased, my happiness level, because they are increased, I can focus more. and the stress is very less now. Even though I still go through the stress sometimes because of the lot of deliverables. I still go through the stress, but I have the key now how to beat this stress. I have this ups and downs still, but I know how to overcome those. And also at workplace, uh, before meditation, I always used to feel competitive with others. I always used to feel like, you know, even if I have a question, before even I asking the question to that person, oh, this guy will not tell because this guy is like, if he tells, if he explains to me, he would feel that, I know I'll know the work and then I will take his work. So that kind of mentality I used to have before even I asking the question. I used to think like that, and even when something is some few things I know, I never used to explain because I used to hide with me. I used to maintain that uh, knowledge with me so that no one can do this task and my job will be safe and secure. That's how my mentality used to be there. But after meditation, the more I'm sharing, the more help I'm getting from the colleagues. That's what I'm experiencing. And now I don't even think anything negative about my colleagues. Any new work, any new team, I always welcome. I always feel like positive about them. I always think that everyone in my team, they help me. And now, whatever I know, I go to that extra mile. I stretch in the evenings and do help the team members. And whatever the knowledge I have, I transfer to them. Now, before meditation, I'll tell this one liner, right? So, before meditation, I used to think if the knowledge is with me, my job is safe. But now, my focus is on completing the work, because everyone in the team is working for the common goal, right? For the common objective. We have to finish the task. So if everyone in the team knows how to do, even when I'm away, even when I'm on the vacation, they can complete it. There is no dependency on me. So that kind of mentality I have developed at workplace. And believe me, the moment after this meditation, because I've changed my thinking towards the team members, everyone is like very cooperative rather than this competitive world, right? The competitiveness, right? So it's all in the mind. That's what I have realized. It's all in the mind. If you feel that there is a competition, yes, there is a competition, you are right. If you feel that there is no competition, with cooperation you can achieve major things, yes, you can do that. So
Wow. It's great, like how by practicing mindfulness and sharing your knowledge with others, you created that positive environment for you as well as others at your workplace.
Swapna, here it's not only in my professional life, but also in my personal family life. Also, it helped me a lot because I learned meditation from my wife Pranahita. I understood the benefits of meditation, and there was a situation where one of my family member, my brother, he was not feeling well. He was having that very severe issue, health issue, and every weekend I used to go to my hometown and I used to take care of my brother. And at one point, I kind of felt so sad. I was like, I literally cried. What is happening with my family? He was like, my brother was like a backbone to me, and he was like elder to me, and he's not keeping well. And then there is one other brother, younger brother. He was like taking care of my elder brother, and I used to. It was in Hyderabad. I used to be in Bangalore. I used to travel every weekend for some time. Then one day I thought, why not introduce meditation to my younger brother, because he is staying with my brother. He was also going, crazy about because he's always 24/7. He's taking care of my brother, And my mom also, she would always because she used to stay in the village. In the village, what happens is, even for the smallest of things, they call the doctor, that RNP doctor, and they take medicine, injections, and all those things. For everything, she would complain, oh, I'm getting this ache, I'm getting headache, stomach pain, or whatever. So many things she used to complain, and every day she used to take pills. So I thought, okay, let me introduce meditation. So first, because I had that relation with my younger brother, because he would always listen to me, I told, uh, his name is Chiranjeevi. So I told him, like, Chiru, just try this. If you like it, you can do. And then I taught meditation to him in hospital. In the hospital, I taught meditation to him, yeah, in the evening. So he did meditation for 15 minutes, and then he felt so peaceful, and then he started doing it. And after this, everything, this hospital thing completed, he went to a course called Vipassana. It's a 10 days course, because he liked the meditation. And he went to the 10 days meditation. After that, he said, he's like, is a completely transformed person. After that 10 days meditation, he came to me and he says, if you haven't taught this meditation, I would have ran away from home. Maybe I would have, like, spending somewhere in the temple. I i i got fed up of this, spending my time in the hospital, and not doing anything. I wanted to run away. I don't know what to do. So that was my younger brother. And one other younger brother, he was like, he is also having this, suicidal thoughts, because of the depression, because of this all family situations. And he also, said, he started meditating, and he also said that because of meditation, I could overcome these suicidal thoughts. And my mom, she stopped this taking medicines, and all these injections or whatever it is. And she completely, for like 2 to 3 years after this meditation, she completely uh, stayed away from these medicines. But after that, again, she went into like a normal life. She started taking, because she stopped meditation. Again, after like 3 to 4 years, again she started meditation, because she had this BP, sugar, and all the even more chronic illnesses. So she started doing meditation, and she's doing like 8 hours a day, and she could overcome all these illnesses, BP and sugar. She's not taking anything now. So that's on the family side. They're completely transformed. And there will be challenges, right, in everyone's life, because you are going through this family. You have those responsibilities. You have to fulfill some of the things. You have to go to work. So there will be some challenges, but uh, you know the key how to overcome these challenges.
That's wonderful. That's why they say that if one person in a family learns and practices meditation, it will help the whole family and also improve the overall relations. You were talking about thought power and manifestation. Can you elaborate more on that, Ravi?
Yeah, sure. So, in this process, what I have realized when you are doing this meditation, the first and foremost thing, the benefit you get is that awareness. You start living in the moment. You don't really worry about the future. See, if you are feeling tired and you still have the work, but at the moment, I'm feeling tired. At this present moment, I'm feeling tired. Let me take a nap, and then so that I can finish the work very efficiently. So that's how it, like, with meditation, the biggest benefit you get is awareness. The thing you get with meditation is awareness, living in the moment. Okay. And during this time, because I was doing meditation for 6 to 8 hours of meditation every day, uh, I once thought, okay, this meditation is so beautiful. Why not uh, give this meditation to my village people? Okay, there are so many people who are going through a lot of struggles, and they need this meditation. and they have a lot of family issues, financial issues. They don't have the work. So why not have a meditation center at my home in the village? I'm from a very small village, very small village. So there, the moment I thought, next day my brother, he called me, he said, we have opened the meditation center today, he said. So I thought about it a day before, and next day he calls me and he says, we have opened the meditation center today, all of suddenly. So see, my thought, and it got synchronized with my brother's thought. So that's where I realized, okay, there is something more to meditation. Whatever you are thinking, it is getting manifested. Sometimes I would think about my friends. They would call me, wow, I just thought about you and you are like calling me now. So I realized, okay, there is something more to meditation. It's not just being in the present, blissful happiness. There is something more. You can create, you can manifest. So then in this job, I was having very less salary because of I was going through that tough phase. I would I couldn't change my job, and I did not ask for the appraisal because my project got failed. uh, so I had very less salary, and I wanted to go to Hyderabad, where I could spread more meditation to my local people. So then I thought, okay, let me sit in meditation. Let me release this thought. Okay, so I have, during that time in the year 2008 2009, it was a recession time actually. Whole world is having this turmoil of this financial turmoil. Everyone, every company was laying off employees. That's when I had this thought of changing the job so that I can get more salary, and so that I can move to my native place. I can do more meditation, spreading. So then I got one offer uh, in a different location, not in my native place, with a more salary. But then I thought, okay, no, I don't want to go to other place where I'll be an alien over there. I cannot do much work on meditation. Let me go to my local place. Then even though I had that offer, and during the decision time, I got one other opportunity where my friend, he's like, hey, I had a job, I got a job, but I don't want to join there because I don't want to go to that location because he is from a different location. So if you are interested, I can refer you. See how it is working, right? The moment even though I had this offer with the salary I intended, but I wanted a specific location, and then that person would come to me and tell me like, I have an opportunity, I got a job, because I'm not joining there. If I reject the offer now, they will say, hey, in the last minute you cannot reject. They will feel bad. Instead of that, I will refer you as a you are a good friend of mine and you are a good resource. And he referred there, and they like quickly interviewed, and then I got the job in Hyderabad with 100% hike and relocation allowances, and at the location I wanted during the recession time. See how it worked. And in this process, I had one friend. He's like a priest, right? He was like, hey, do you really want to change the job now because it's recession time? Do you really want to change the job? So I like, yeah. So he said, uh, let me ask my relative. He's like, he sees this astrology. So he said, let me show your thing to you, give your date of birth. I'll ask my uncle, he's very good. So that person said, wherever you are there now, stick to that job. Don't even try to change the job. That's what he said. I was like, oh, on one side, I got the job at the place I wanted with 100% hike, and this person is not, don't change the job. At that point of time, I was reading this book, Autobiography of a Yogi. In that book, Yukteswar Giri, he tried to put some band on his disciple Paramahamsa Yogananda. His Paramahamsa Yogananda, out of surprise, he says, "Guruji, do you believe this? Because you teach meditation and you tell so many things, and then you are like tying this." He says, it's not about my belief, it's about your belief, right? Meditation has more power than this astrology. Okay, yes, there are planetary effects on your mind, on your personal life, but you can overcome with meditation. With that strong intention can eradicate all these effects. That's what he says. That really got into my mind. I was like, okay. Then I was like, again, sat in meditation, and then I released this intention. Okay, I none of these planetary things will affect me. So that's what I've released the thought. And then I went to this, I joined this job, and I did very well. And within first 3 months, there used to be some kind of awards for performing well, and every company would give that, like global recognition awards. So I got continuously for 3 consecutive quarters. Every quarter I used to get a gift from the client. So that's how I got manifested at workplace. So I'll tell more about this thought power and manifestation, how it helped me. So after joining this company, I wanted to buy a car. uh, then every time I wanted this something to my personally, I wanted something personally, I always used to attach this personal desire to the some I used to attach with the universal cause, like because I wanted a car. I said, okay, I wanted a car, but I want to construct a pyramid. Okay, if I get an on-site opportunity, okay, so I can buy a car. And immediately I got a call from manager from US, and she called me and said, Ravi, there is an opportunity, you want to come to US? I thought, yes, I want to come to US. And then I thought, okay, if this onset opportunity, if I can get for 2 months, I can also construct a beautiful pyramid on my house, the rooftop pyramid. So after the processing started, after a couple of weeks, she said, Ravi, do you mind if we extend the this on-site time from 1 month to 2 months? Believe me, in my team, it is a product-based company. Getting an on-site opportunity is like not a big deal, because I went to Sweden, I went to Saudi Arabia before that, but I wasted a lot of money because I was alcoholic, as I said. Okay, but here I wanted something after transforming my life. I wanted something for myself. I wanted a car, and also I wanted to construct a pyramid. So I used to attach my personal desires, or whatever you call it, as personal intentions, with this universal intentions, right? If I do something for the universe not just will help for my personal desires, but also to help other people. So I got this on-site opportunity for a couple of months. Immediately after coming from this on-site, I constructed the pyramid, and I also bought the car. So that's another thing.
That's wonderful, Ravi. They say that your thoughts create your reality, and it is so important that you consciously put the right thoughts so that you can manifest whatever you want in your life. Can you tell us about Pranahita? You said she was your friend. So when did she come into your life?
So it's a long story, but long story short, she was my college mate. Then only I proposed in the year 1999, and then we got married in 2010. After I got into this meditation in 2007, I got into meditation. I started doing this intensive meditation. She was in a different level, so I had to raise my levels to her levels so that I could marry her. So in the after even though I proposed her in the year 1999, when we were like just in our teenage days, you can call it as after our in our plus two uh, days. Okay, so after this meditation, I completely transformed my life. And then again, I proposed her. But she was like, now she used to think, her path and my path, they are different. She always used to say that, our paths are different. I don't think it will work out. uh, then I used to do a lot of meditation because of this thought power, or whatever you call it as. Because of this, I used to think she should accept me. And she was like, so many times I proposed her, what is that which is lacking in me? uh, Tell me, I'll try to improve. She was like, no, it's like it doesn't work out because you have a different life, I have a different life. What is that? I used to ask her. But because I used to do a lot of hours together meditation, I think that's what it's like. I could elevate my energy levels. And she did not accept directly. She went to Patriji, and she asked, one person is asking that he likes me and he wants to marry me, but I think that I have a different purpose. Somehow I feel that our paths, they do not match. So then his Patri sir said, okay, call him, I'll see. So Patri sir, it was in 2010 January or Feb. There used to be a place called Jagannatha Gattu. There was this celebrations every year December. There used to be Jnana Yajna celebrations. And on the it is like a success meet of that celebrations in January 2010. There, uh, I met Patriji for the first time directly, even though I saw him on the stage in 2008, 2009. But in 2010, I personally met him because of Pranahita, because she wanted to get Patrisa's opinion whether I am suitable for her or not. So I went to him. He said, "Sir, Pranahita, she said, to meet you." I was like, okay. So he was like, having that deep looking into my eyes. I was like, what is he doing? I was like alcoholic, smoker, all these things. Is he, scanning all my past lives and past things? I'm not a good guy. Like I was like thinking. But then he saw for some time, and then he said, looked at Pranahita, and she said, he's the right person for you. Go for it. Even then, she did not, uh, I mean, she accepted, but she still wanted to have more signals. In the same year, 2010, in Buddha Purnima celebrations in Bangalore Pyramid Valley, which is my favorite place. On full moon day, everyone was meditating. After this meditation session, she was like, uh, she calls me Kiran, okay, I want to marry you. I'm okay to marry you. That's when she accepted. So that's how she came into my life. Again, I would give this credit to this meditation. Because of meditation only, I could raise my energy levels. And with my thought power, I could get her in my life. I'm really, really fortunate she having in my life, because I've learned a lot from her. So after we married in 2010 on 11th of November, Patrisa's birthday, on the stage, we kind of we had this engagement, and we got married on November 19th in the same year. So after that, in 2011, in 2010 December itself, we felt like, okay, let's move to some other country, because Pranayata, she had this UK visa. And she said, let's explore. I was like, what? We have very good comfortable jobs. here. I was working for Bank of America with a comfortable salary. And she was working for a multinational company, Verizon. She's also having, very high salary, very good salary. And why do you want to explore? She's like, let us explore. And she went and asked Patri sir, we feel like going to the UK. Then Patri sir said, yeah, your work is there, you know, you have to go to UK. So that's what Patrisa said. Immediately we applied the visa, and everyone was like, our visa was valid only for 9 months. And you apply the visa for me as a dependent because she had the visa, and apply the visa and come here to this country and get the salary. To have the visa extended, you need to have some amount of salary, that some amount of points. So it was like everyone, really, you want to go again? This time also, the market was not good. 2011 in the UK, it was not good. Everyone was like, why do you want to go? Then Pranahita's brother, Prabodh, he said, Ravi, you only need one job. You don't need to worry about the entire market. Don't you think that there will be one job for you? That really inspired me. And then Patri sir said, anyway, our purpose is there. Purpose is here in the UK. And then we traveled here. And after coming here, there was only one job for Pranahita because she was the main applicant. And and we had only, by the time we got the visa, we had only 8 months now. Within 8 months, the 2 months is already over. Now we have got only 6 months. Within 6 months, we have to get that into comfortable job so that our visa can be extended, and that salary has to be very high. Prana has got only one job published in the market, and during that time, she called Patri sir, yeah, everything is going well. I'm still looking for the job. Job will come automatically. You did not go there for, trying for a job and settling there. You went there for a purpose. So that job, there was heavy competition. She got the job. And after that, me also got into the job. Since then, I work as a contractor because I get more salary. Because I get more salary, I can do more work, the spiritual work. That's why I always prefer working as a contractor rather than this permanent job where I get the less salary. So since then, I never had any gap. Every time, the contract ends, I have another job ready. So recently, I will tell about this example. In this COVID situation, so many companies are like, because of the situation, they are laying off and then not extending the contracts. So it happened with me as well. In the month of June, my contract ended, finished. Just 3 weeks before, my manager, she called me, and she respects me a lot because I was like a very good resource for her. And she gave all the good feedback, and in the end she says, so because of the budget, we couldn't extend your contracts. Then I was like, I did not even feel anything bad about it. I was like, wow, I'm going to get few weeks of break because I wanted a break because a lot of work is happening, meditation is work is happening. I was like, I did not. Then I told her, yes, okay. I'm not feeling bad at all. Don't worry. She was like feeling bad. I'm sorry about it because I tried my best, but this time we have to have this 35% of resource cut, but because of the budget cuts. So no, no, not at all. I think it is for my own good. I don't mind. I'm not feeling bad at all. So I took like 2 weeks of break. Out of nowhere, someone called me and he said, there is a job you want to you know, attend this interview? I said, yes, but that's a small company. And he said, uh, what is your daily rate? I said, if I get this much of salary, then only I will work. Otherwise, I will not work. I will not reduce my rate. So he was like, it is a small company, but he had no other option. And with the confidence, I said, he was like, oh, I think he's the right person. He immediately went and he told them, and the manager and everyone, they called me and they were like on the call, 15-20 minutes. I did not prepare for the interview at all. Whatever I've done, I've just explained this is what I've done. And within 15 minutes, they were like, "Oh, you are good. Then I think you know everything. Uh, you are recruited." So that's they have given me the contract for 2 months, uh, and this 2 months contract with the same rate, even though it's a small company. And after before even this 2 months is completed, this contract finished, I got another call from my previous company. He said there is an open position. Do you want to join without an interview? I said okay, I'm okay. I'm okay with that. Okay, I'll call you on Monday. He said. On Monday, he did not call. For that whole week. And during that week, I got another call, and they have selected me with more salary than I was getting. And then this person again called me, okay, everything is ready. Do you want to join? No, I'm not available now because I already got another opportunity. So during this situation, uh, I could manifest 2 to 3 jobs at a time. I had to reject the offers. So, and on the other side, my friends, they would call me, they say, market is not good. I never ever thought about the market. Whenever I wanted a job, I only focused only on that single job. Yeah. I never worried about entire market. So I always had this positive thought. Okay, I never have this single, a small doubt about not having the job. I feel like money is flowing into my life. Salary is coming into my bank account. The flow is always continuous. That's how that manifestation happens. That's how I'm able to manifest things in my life.
Wow, it was very interesting to hear how Pranahita came into your life and how you support each other. You both are such a wonderful couple who are inspiring many. And it's amazing how at every step you applied manifestation techniques and thought power to create the miracles in your life.
Yes. So Prana, she coming into my life. It's like I'm very lucky to have her in my life because it really, really helped me to evolve more. As I said about this manifestation, she was, I learned meditation from her, and this, thought power, thinking positively without any second thought, without any negative or without even a small doubt. I think it has come from her. So I just wanted to add this one also. For example, this house. So in the UK, the housing market was like booming like anything. I was like, no, I don't think we could get house in the budget we are looking, and it even if you get a house, it will be far from the city. So she was like, no, have that clear intention. What do you want to have? You want to have closer to the city, right? Closer to the central London. So, and it is easily commutable to your workplace. That's what you want to have. Like intent for that. Why are you thinking about the market again? So then we clearly wrote, right? So it has to be these many bedrooms, and the kitchen should be like this, and the bedrooms should be like this. Here the houses are like, the uh, ground floor and first floor. In the ground floor there will be a kitchen, and then living room, and the first floor there will be bedrooms. But she was like, no, we don't want to have that kind of arrangement where you have to go up and down every time. Let's have everything on the one floor, whatever we need. So we clearly have had that intent, how you want to have that house. We have visualized, we clearly put it on the paper. I clearly wrote it. I still remember on the sticky paper, like we have moved to this house, and this house is very close to central London, easily commutable to my workplace, and within the budget we are looking for, and with these many number of bedrooms, and this is how it. I literally wrote, and she made me to write that. And wherever I had like, oh really, do you want me to write this? No, have that clear, right? universe will not have any discrimination towards you and others, so it will give whatever you want. Universe is always vibrating in that frequency, in the frequency of abundance, in the frequency of peace, in the frequency of joy, in the frequency of happiness. You only need to tap into that, you know so that's what she said. And she always have that clear intention. So then, maybe she trained me a lot, even though I had this thought pose, but then to this detail I learned from her. And from her, the beauty of having her on my side is what to talk and when to talk. I used to do this lot of loose talk, to be honest, even though after coming into this meditation. I used to, without my awareness, I used to slip some words out of my mouth, right? As Jesus said, what goes into your mouth, it does not matter. What comes out of your mouth, that it matters. So your words should be very perfect, very clear, and they should be very positive. If you are saying few things to someone, it should be expanding the consciousness. It should not be shrinking, right? So you should not create the fears into others' life. Oh, this is not good. That is not good. This area is not good. Never ever talk about. We always read the newspaper. Pranayita, she would never look at the newspaper. I never saw her. I mean, whenever I tell some news, she's like, really? I don't even know about. She never reads newspaper. She's, you know, even if you have read the newspaper for your like information purpose, don't look at the crime stories. And even if you have seen it, don't share with the people. Does it really help them? you know will it have a positive impact on them? No, definitely not. If you are telling about something scary, something fearful, it will create the fears into others life, right? With fears, people you shrink, right? So imagine when you have a fear, right? How you feel shrinking. And when you are joyful, you know you are feeling expanded, right? So that's what I learned from her. This crystal clear thinking, having that vak shuddhi, having that the clear speech. Talk what you want, don't talk what you don't want. Okay, that's what I learned from her. And I learned from her a lot of things, like I always used to assume the thing. So that guy is thinking about me this way because I couldn't answer this phone call, or I couldn't do this work. Maybe my manager is thinking bad about me. Why are you assuming? With assumption, you are creating such realities in your life more and more. Okay, so many people they say, "Oh no, I'm thinking, I'm releasing these positive thoughts in meditation," uh, but then they have this doubt. Okay, I need to justice to my job, right? I'm getting this much of salary, so I have to work hard. They kind of, you know, on one side they want a very good salary, very comfortable salary, comfortable life. On the other side, they feel like they are not doing justice to their job. They feel like they have to work more for the salary they are getting. No, there's nothing that kind of there's no obligation that you have to work this much for this much salary. Universe is always vibrating in that abundance. If you really want abundance, if you really want to invite abundance in your life, don't ever think about this. Don't ever think about your manager, what they are thinking, what others are thinking. What others are thinking is their personal understanding, their own perception, their own understanding. They're good on their own, with their own understanding, with their own wisdom. Whatever they are saying, it is right for them. But you don't have to literally take it, and you don't have to literally compare it with what they are saying, right? So that's what I would say to many people who are not manifesting. Don't ever never ever have this doubt of, oh, this market is not good. If I ask for the more salary, will I get it? See, that job, that short term contract, 2 months, it is very small company. But I said I had this principle, I will not work even 1 pound lesser than that. I made it clear. you know, when it comes to your principles, right? Be like, you have to be strong. You have to be rock solid when it comes to your principles. Like, for example, you are a vegetarian, I'm a vegan. uh, so I will never offer a non-vegetarian food to anyone, because it's like giving the fear again, right? When you are killing the animal, when you are eating that food, okay, so when you are killing that animal will not invite you to kill and then eat, right? So when you are, whenever, whoever that, going to kill, before I mean, they sense, and that fear vibrations go into the body. And when you are eating that, it's all energy, right? When you are eating that food which is having this fear energy, that's why you get a lot of unknown fears. Where are you getting this unknown fears from? From this, eating this non-veg food and giving the fears to others unknowingly, right? You are reading the newspaper with negative things, and then you having that fears and passing that fears to your neighbors. Hey, you know what happened in this that area? There was some very big robbery happened. The people heard, and you tell all these stories, and then you make other people, fearful. You create the fear in others' life. You get the fears, obviously. Don't create the fear. Do not give the fears to animals, to anyone, if you don't want to have fears in your life. That's what I learned from her. Whenever I tell her, like, Prana, we have to be careful in this way. No, don't think like that. Okay, you are attracting that. And this is beautifully said in Autobiography of a Yogi by Yukteswar Giri. He explained very clearly to Paramahamsa Yogananda. When you are thinking about your thief is coming, you are really attracting the thief and coming into your house and taking the stuff, whatever you are, fearful of. So always think what you want. Don't think what you don't want. Do you want a good health? Always think about the good health. Do you want happiness? Always create the happiness. Raise that vibrations. This is what I learned from Pranayata. So she's always in that happy moment. So for any reason, if I create fear, in that, in this, to her, she would just simply go and watch a funny, some comedy movie. She will not even care about what I've said.
Yes, Ravi, as you said, universe is always vibrating in abundance. And it is not just the thoughts, but also the words that you speak that play a key role in manifesting your reality. And they say it's very important to be conscious of what information you take in and what are the kinds of thoughts you release and how you speak.
Yes, Swapna, it is very important to have to use the right words. So I have learned this, the greatest thing from this great movement, Pyramid Spiritual Society's movement. You create your own reality, and what you are speaking, the words, the kind of words you are using should be very powerful and quality words. What goes into your mouth, that does not define the person. What comes out of the mouth, that defines the person. That's what I learned from Patriji. He always tells this. Okay, so one thing I realized in this path, there are so many people who are very knowledgeable, but yet they work for very less salary, and they complain that they will never get hike in their salary. See what they are saying? They are knowledgeable, and they say, "Oh, I know I am not going to get the hike." That's what they say, right? I know this year also it is going to be very less. I don't have any expectation in this company. You have that kind of thoughts. How can you create the good reality for you, right? Some people, they think positively and they visualize positively, but what they say, that does not match with what they think. Okay, so they think something, they say something. They are not in alignment. So your feelings, your words, your thoughts, all three should be in alignment. And when you are complaining about, you are using this kind of words, oh no, I will never get the hike in, salary hike. I have a least expectation in this company. I have least expectation, with this manager. You are creating, with that kind of words, you are creating the same similar life. Do you really want to a good life for you? Do you really want to create a good reality for you? Then start feeling, start saying that words. Yes, I'm going to get hike this year for sure. 15%, 20%, whatever the person you want. Okay. Whatever the person you have in your mind, you are, eligible for whatever you want. As I said, there is abundance of money, abundance of resources in this universe. Universe is always vibrating in that abundance. It's just that you have to align with that vibration. You have to align with that frequency. The way you change the frequency in the radio, you connect to that particular station. Similarly.
So, Ravi, you were mentioning that you're a vegan. So, when did you become a vegan, and what are some of the benefits that you've seen turning into a vegan?
So I became vegan in the year 2012 because of, you know, I came into this spirituality. I wanted to explore more this inner world. So I was like looking for more and more outside, as in like, okay, if I go to some other society, I will learn more. Maybe, I need to learn more and more. And there was one society called Supreme Master Ching Hai. So I got introduced to this master, great master, with one from one of our pyramid masters only in USA, in New Jersey. I'm very grateful to them. So if you want to get initiated with their meditation technique, so you need to be a strict vegan for 3 months. So I was a vegetarian before that. After I came into meditation in 2007, I gave up eating meat. I was a ferocious meat eater. Like during the childhood, I heard a story about one family, killing an animal, sacrificing to the god, and their son, little boy, he stopped his parents not to kill that animal. If you want to kill that animal, kill me first. So that got inspired, that went into my mind. I gave up eating meat when I was in second standard. Till graduation, I was a vegetarian, but in when I started this graduation in the college, because of the friends, I started drinking and eating meat, and I was like eating every day, almost every day after joining the job, because I had a lot of money and I go out and I always used to prefer eating meat. Then after coming into meditation, I had that compassion towards animals, and I gave up eating meat just like that. And then now, after that, I slowly started seeing that my fears, slowly reducing, the unknown fears. So what happens is, when someone is killing an animal, that animal will go through that very fearful state, and it will take that fear vibrations, they go through the entire body, right? They will not welcome anyone to kill them, right? So they are like any other living being. They breathe, they eat, they have the feelings, you know even for a moment. If you try to take out the calf away from the cow, see how the mother cow and the calf feel, right? You can see that. I mean, you can watch some videos, and even the dogs, pets, they have the emotions, right? When you are killing, say, let's say, if you, while cutting the vegetables, you have cut your finger, that itself pains a lot. For a few days you go through that pain, and you are cutting that animal, how bad it is. It is, and you eating that food, and you are eating that fear. Okay, when you give the fears to animals, when you give the fears to anyone, you get the fears. So that's why it is very, very important to be a vegetarian, to be a vegan. Even the vegetarian is like, to some extent, it is contributing towards the animal cruelty in the Western countries, because in the dairy industry, it has become, a business. Every year, you know, they are artificially impregnated, the cows, and just for the sake of milk. And the moment the delivery happens, the cows, if they are male cows, they kill straight away. And if it is a female cow, they will raise it with some antibiotics and some kind of these things, so that they can look big, and they grow up very quickly, and they start giving milk. The moment they stop giving milk, they will kill. Right? What is the use of animal for them? Right? That's how we are contributing towards this animal cruelty. Yeah, wherever it is possible. Yeah, being vegetarian is also okay, but try to transition from vegetarian to vegan. Okay, so even being a vegetarian, we are contributing to animal cruelty and that fear-based consciousness. You killing so many animals in this planet Earth, this environment, it is filled with these fear vibrations. When environment is filled with fear vibrations, you naturally will have that fears, right? Say, for example, I have released one negative thought, one irritating thought here, uh, and one person comes into this place, they will also feel the same. When you are releasing thought, right, this thought goes into this environment, and it is in the process of manifesting. That's how manifestation happens. This fear also in the same way. So when you go to some places, you don't like that in vibration, right? So that's what, when you are killing the animals where you are living, and when you are eating that flesh, the food with blood, the food with fear vibrations, you are creating the fear vibrations, right? It's very, very important to be a vegetarian, to be a vegan in these Western countries particularly. And I'm very, very happy that even the Westerners in this in the UK, so many people are now transitioning from non-vegetarian meat eating to vegetarian, and vegetarian to vegan. There's so many vegans in this UK. So many people is This vegan food is very readily available everywhere. Every takeaway restaurant here, they have the vegan options. A world is moving towards a plant-based diet, and it's not just you know not just stopping the animal cruelty, but also it helps towards your health. With plant-based diet, on the long run, you will have a lot of health benefits. And you see a lot of celebrities, why they are turning towards plant-based diet, because they're seeing the benefits. They are performing well. With the meat eating, with the meat consumption, their performance levels are coming down. They think that meat is protein. That protein is, on the long run, it is not useful. That protein, the amount of protein that we are having, that people are having eating meat, it is more than what you are supposed to eat. And that extra protein, as per the scientific research, as per my limited knowledge, maybe I may be wrong, it is converting into this so-called cancers. This extra protein itself, there's so many side effects eating meat. And when this meat is produced, right, uh, when the cow is stop giving milk, when it stops giving milk, and when they are killing this thing, and because they have to produce a lot of meat, they give some injections so that they look bulge, they grow up faster. A lot of chemicals, a lot of antibiotics, right? You are eating that, and it is creating, you are eating a lot of toxins. not just the fear filled by food, but also toxins in all aspects. It is damaging your health, damaging your inner joy, and it is creating more fears in your life. So, and it is causing global warming, right? Because because of this raising lot of animals, and to feed those animals, lot of forests are they are cut, lot of trees are cut, and then it is fed to the animal. And GMO food, they are like, GMO crops are like, they are raising a lot of GMO crops just for feeding animals. The amount of water that is used to produce 1 pound of meat, you know with that water you can grow a lot of plant-based food, and with that you can eradicate hunger in this world. There are so many countries, so many people are starving in those countries. There, hunger deaths are happening. If you are transitioning from meat eating to the plant based, you can help to your health, and also to environment, and to the society, and to these countries where there are hunger deaths. And you can reduce that global warming as well. So there are so many benefits. And I don't need to say, there are so many examples, there are so many celebrities, they are realizing it. So they are understanding with the plant-based diet, their stamina is, it's lost for a long time. With meat eating, it is only temporary. Okay, that's my limited knowledge, I could say, because there's a lot in this, and there's so many people. You can go and research in YouTube. You can see there is a video called Meet Your Meat. Okay, and also you can see, watch this movie, The Game Changers. My goodness, a lot of scientific evidences. I'm not a scientist. Okay, I understood energetically, I felt it is good to be a vegetarian and vegan. For you, there are a lot of scientific facts in front of you. Just Google it, and how it is impacting the global warming, how it is impacting the environment. We are damaging our environment. We are damaging the nature. All these natural, nature, disasters, calamities. It is because one of the reason, having meat, killing animals. This is what I believe.
Thank you. That's great info, Ravi. Yes, I did watch the Game Changers, and it was like an eye opener. They gave so much info.
Isn't it? There are so many celebrities in that movie. Yeah.
Thank you. So, Ravi, along with manifestation techniques and thought power, is there anything else that immensely helped you in your journey?
Yes, I really feel this gratitude, being grateful for what you have, will help you to create the best reality in your life. To be honest, on this gratitude part, I'm really, really thankful to many people in my life who taught me about this gratitude. Firstly, my wife, she used to say always, wherever we go, we stay in the hotel on holidays. And when we vacate that room, she used to say, "Thank you, room." I was like, what this kind of, behavior is like, say thanks to a room. I was like, so that's how I used to feel. But then later she used to say, no, you have to be grateful. You have to be grateful for the train. You have to be grateful for the flight. You have to be grateful for the chair you are sitting in. You have to be grateful for the room. It's such a comfortable room, and we had a very nice time in this hotel, right? It really helped us, and we had all the luxuries here. So we have to be grateful. So I started slowly then, and then how the gratitude changes your vibrations. That part scientifically, I learned it from so many pyramid masters, and particularly Chandra sir. In his meditation sessions, he stresses a lot on gratitude. Okay, so that's I learned from him recently, and I can clearly see, when you are grateful for what you have, the vibrations, the state of your the inner state, It is really completely changing. It is fully changing. So uh, you have to be very grateful for your job. Okay, you have to be grateful for your all your colleagues, and you have to be grateful for your manager, and you have to be grateful for your future managers, future company, so that you are welcoming. Okay, along with this, having the right words, right thoughts, right intentions, and also having this gratitude. Again, this meditation and gratitude is a pure science. It's not nothing magical here, right? So when you are in meditation, what is happening is that happy hormones, endorphins, dopamines, they are getting released. That's why you feel happy for no reason in meditation. Similarly, when you are expressing gratitude, those serotonin, these happy hormones, they get released. When you are happy, you always think positively, right? So that's why you attract more. So gratitude is very, very important. You have to be grateful for your food, what you are having. So when you are having the water, I mean, I'm listening to all the masters, right? It's not that I have invented this. It's not that I have, on my own I have invented this. This is I learned from the masters. So when you are drinking the water, be thankful that, and you are having that negative thoughts and irritating thoughts, and drinking the water, that water is having that vibrations, and you are drinking it, and your body having this 70% of water, and it is converting all that 70% of water into that negative vibrations, right? So you have to be grateful for whatever you are having. You have to be grateful for our computer, right? Without this computer, without this internet, we couldn't have spoken today, we couldn't have met today, right? We couldn't have this interview today. And you should be very grateful to the nature, the plants. You see, imagine if there are no trees on this planet earth, will you survive? No. So gratitude is the foundation for everything. Gratitude is the foundation. Can you believe, if there are no honeybees on this planet earth, there will be disasters, you won't survive. That honeybee is also helping you. And can you believe that earthworms, if they are not there, you that you will not have that agricultural crops, right? You will not have that food, and resulting disasters. How grateful you should be. Everything in this world is working for you. How grateful you should be. Trees are, they are taking in carbon dioxide and giving oxygen for you. And without sunlight, can you imagine? And without air, fresh air, and without this infrastructure that government is, they are making sure that nice roads and parks and your surroundings are safe and secure, you have to be grateful to your government as, right? So we always complain about government, right? Okay, if they are not doing good, don't don't really stress on that what they are not doing. Always be grateful what they are doing good, right? Then the other part also, they will correct it. Everything gets corrected when you are grateful for what you have and what you are seeing and what you are experiencing. I'm saying you, every day I have sticky notes on every door, literally, thank you notes, sticky notes. For a moment, if I forget to be grateful, entering into that room, you know, drinking that water into the kitchen, in the kitchen, for a moment, if I forget, they remind me, right? So always be grateful if you want to create the best reality in your life. It's amazing, my dear friends. Be grateful for what you have with you, to your family members, your colleagues, to your company, to the government, to the people who were serving, cleaning the roads, maintaining the parks, and the lakes, to everything, and the chair, everything, the computer, everything you can be grateful for.
Very well explained, Ravi. Even I've attended Chandrasa's sessions, and the gratitude exercise is my favorite part too. And he says, along with being grateful to people and things that you have in your life, you have to be grateful to your own self.
Yes, that is 100% right, Swapna. Each and every cell of your body is working for you. If you're not grateful for it, right, they will die. The cells will die, and your body will get depleted of the energy. So it is very important that you have a good view about yourself, your body, grateful for your body. You have a good view about the world. Always think positive about your neighbors. Never ever complain about your, oh, they are not good, okay, and your community is not good, and your government is not good, as I said before. Have a good view always. Don't think that these people are always cunning, people are always, they are like cheating, you know. So never ever think that. Always have a good view. This great master, Richard Bach, he says, the mark of your ignorance is the depth of your belief in injustice and tragedy. I don't think that there's always tragedy and people are painful here and there is injustice here. Everything is happening the way it should happen. Everything is happening for its own reason. Okay. So that's, you have to have that good view, then it will develop a good feeling. When you have the good view, then you will have the good feeling, and then you will create the good physicality, good reality.
That's great, Ravi. So, can you share with us about how you're spreading meditation in UK and what are some of the activities that you've done and are planning to do?
Yes. So, as I said, we moved to the UK in the year 2011. Ever since we came to this country, one thing we had in our mind that we have to spread meditation to everyone, because Patriji said, your job is in the UK. Go and spread meditation. You are not going for, this physical job. You have a different purpose there. Your purpose is in the UK. That's what he said in the year 2010. That's why we moved to the UK in 2011. So we came to UK, and we got some, meditation leaflets, flyers with us. And then I used to go to the temples and give this meditation pamphlets to, the visitors in the temple or on the high street, and we used to invite them to our place, and then we used to conduct the sessions. But that was in the year 2011-12. And after that, slowly we, started spreading. Some people, they understood, okay, these guys can teach meditation. They started inviting to their, events. That's how we started. In the year 2012, we started this online meditation sessions in the morning and in the evening. So every day, regularly, in the morning and in the evening, we used to, I mean, even now we are conducting. So we conduct this online meditation sessions. Whoever joins. Earlier, it used to be Skype, and then as the technology is, improving, then we move to, there is something called pre-conference call now, because of this Corona and everything. And even before Corona, we used to have this Zoom classes, right? So we, every day morning, in the morning at 6 a.m. to 6:40, and in the evening 8 p.m. to 8:45 p.m. we conduct these meditation sessions. And also, whenever Patri comes to UK, we organize sessions all over the UK, different places. Uh, in London, there are places, Basingstoke, Milton Keynes, Bristol, Manchester, there are different places. So we go to different places and we do the Facebook promotions. Where, so many people, they use Facebook here. We do paid promotions. It, pops up in their, Facebook, and they register. We have a website also, and we have a YouTube channel now, and also other masters like Crystal Pradeep, Australia, from Australia. He came to UK like 3-4 times now. So we do 1 day workshops, 2 day workshops. Even Pranahita, she started sessions at her workplace when she was working. She now she has quit the job, but earlier she used to work for Royal Bank of Scotland. She initiated the meditation sessions in her company, and she does past life counseling, and uh, she helped so many people who are into depression. And that's how we started teaching and going to the people through Facebook and through, these other online mediums. And also, slowly we started, other team members started joining, and they are also, as a team now, we have like few families, the core pyramid masters. You can call them as pyramid masters. They are also doing amazing job now. So everyone is doing amazing job. So now from across the world, from anywhere, you can attend the sessions online because of this technology, and we are grateful for this technology. So we conduct silence meditation retreats. Pranayita does silence meditation retreats, and I also go every week to different place and hire a hall over there and invite the people. And and now recently what happened, this is really amazing. I went to Germany for a conference. There I met a person. He was sitting next to me, and somehow I said, okay, he asked me where I'm from. I'm from India. I came to India. I went to Kashi. I was very, very good, very great country, a lot of spirituality. I was like, oh my goodness, in the conference of 400, 500 people, this only person who is like, the like-minded people, he's sitting next to me. And every day we would go to the, restaurant, vegan restaurant, we would have food and talk about meditation. That's how I got the relation, maintain the relation with him. And then he is from Slovenia. He said, why don't we do the sessions to Slovenia? So I was supposed to go to Slovenia in April on the 18th and 19th weekend, but due to the lockdown, we couldn't go. I couldn't go there. So he said, okay, because of the lockdown, everyone is in Zoom. Why don't we start in Zoom? So I started sessions for Slovenia people, around 40 people. They have, taken the sessions for 90 days, and they have fully transformed their life, and now they are taking the sessions, you see. So I just taught what I learned from my master Pranahita and Patriji and Pyramid Spiritual Society's movement, and I just over the internet every day. But it was like every day I used to do this guided meditation, and whatever the knowledge I got, whatever the experience I have, I used to share. And there were so many people, because of the pandemic, they went into depression, they lost their jobs, and they started coming back to the normal state, and they started teaching meditation in their country now. You see the meditation, how it is spreading.
Wonderful efforts in spreading meditation, Ravi. And yes, thanks to technology, which is connecting all of us during this lockdown and helping us continue our work. Great, Ravi. It is amazing how you battled with your addictions and challenges and transformed your life positively with the help of meditation. Also, you've given us great insights and shared your wisdom on manifestation, thought power, and gratitude. Thank you for sharing your journey with us.
Thank you, Swapna. Thank you for having me today in this interview. I'm really, really grateful to you. I'm grateful to PSSM. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Wow. So many takeaways from Ravikiran's journey, isn't it, friends? And wonderful tips for all of us on how to apply manifestation techniques and thought power to create the reality we want in our life, and practicing gratitude to create abundance. Thank you all for joining us today. We have more speakers coming in our next episodes, so stay tuned. For upcoming events and programs, please visit www.pssmglobal.org and subscribe to PMC Global on YouTube. Bye.